Good afternoon, ladies. I'm WWL anchor Karen Swensen, and I'd like to start by thanking you all for being here today and for so generously giving both your time and money to bring positive change to our great city. As wonderful as New Orleans is, we are a long way from being able to provide all of our residents with the life and the future they deserve. A safe and sustainable place to call home, where children are educated and supported, and where those struggling need not look far to find a helping hand. Thankfully, hundreds of local organizations are proving that solving these big challenges often starts with small solutions. Indeed, here in New Orleans, we know you don't have to be big to pack a lot of punch. Just consider the huge crowds one trombonist can draw at Jazz Fest, or the fierce tug-of-wars incited by those small, indiscriminately thrown stuffed animals at a Mardi Gras parade. So it's not surprising that our city is full of small organizations with big ideas for big impact. As the inaugural members of Impact 100, you have the privilege and responsibility of providing a game-changing $100,000 grant to one such organization. In just a moment, you'll hear from 5 spectacular activists, each making a big impact on New Orleans in her own way. These women will present 5 different sectors of our community in need of your support: education, arts and culture, youth development, health and social services, and the environment. Now listen closely, because tomorrow each of you will vote on which sector you believe will most benefit from a $100,000 grant. And with so many deserving causes, this is not going to be an easy choice to make. So I wish you all the best of luck, and thank you again for your generosity.
I'm NOCA musical theater student Charis Gullage, and I'd like to encourage you to vote for arts and culture. Theater, music, visual art, creative writing, dance. The arts are a powerful and wondrous thing. They entertain and inspire us, they delight and ignite our senses, and they foster creativity and self-expression. The arts have an unparalleled ability to bring together people of all different ages, races, and religions, and when times are tough, they remind us to leave our worries on the doorstep and to head to the sunny side of the street. In many cities, arts and culture is just an afterthought, but here in New Orleans, it's in our blood. More than 100 years ago, New Orleans forever changed the landscape of American music with the birth of jazz. And today, our city is home to more than 1,700 arts-related businesses. Together, these organizations constitute an arts and culture industry that employs 14% of our city's workforce, representing more than 32,000 jobs and $1.1 billion in wages. And yet the arts and culture sector has experienced a national decrease in charitable giving. And here at home, state funding for arts and culture has dropped from $5 million to less than $2 million since 2008. With limited funding for the organizations focused on preserving our rich cultural heritage, many of our city's artists are unable to get the support that they need, from financial management and legal assistance to affordable housing and health care, and far too many are now living in poverty. With your help, we can improve the quality of life for our region's creators. We can recognize, encourage, and applaud their work, provide more employment opportunities, and advocate for greater public financial support. What is New Orleans without its artists? Your grant can help ensure that we never have to find out. Please, vote to keep the beat alive.
I'm Citizens for One, Margo Phelps, and I'd like to encourage you to vote for education. On August 29, 2005, New Orleans was presented with both great tragedy and great opportunity. The opportunity to rebuild a better, stronger New Orleans. And perhaps no post-Katrina reform movement has seized that opportunity quite like the overhaul of our public education system. Once ranked number 67 out of 68 school districts in Louisiana, New Orleans is improving at a rate faster than any other school district in the state. The number of students attending a failing school has dropped from 3 in 4 to less than 1 in 5. The percentage of students able to meet the state's basic math and English proficiency goals has nearly doubled from a measly 35% to 63%. And graduation rates have risen from roughly 50 to 80%. Though our gains are extraordinary, we have a long way to go. Continued, lasting progress requires the sustained efforts of the many community organizations working to facilitate higher student achievement. These organizations encourage parent involvement, provide schools with technical and financial assistance, train educators and school leaders, and perform policy research and advocacy. But their ability to do so depends on the support and generosity of people like you. Please vote to give our students the education they deserve.
Hello everyone, and first let me thank all the donors for your extraordinary generosity in helping make our region the most vibrant, most successful, most amazing place on the planet. And I thank you so very much for believing that it actually can be. There's so many needs, it's hard to choose, but I want to urge you to consider the importance of the fundamental issue of safety and sustainability on our land, in our marsh, on our waters that are so important for our initial development and our sustained economic vitality. If we can't figure out how to live in our 13 parish area safely, I guess nothing else really matters. Whether it's our schools or our healthcare system or our social services or our criminal justice system, we've got to be able to find a way to sustain life below sea level, to sustain an economy below sea level by learning better engineering, better water management practices. So thank you all so very much for what you're doing. I hope that you will focus your energy, your time, and your donations to the area of the environment.
I'm New Orleans Health Commissioner Dr. Karen DeSalvo, and I would like to encourage you to vote for Health and Human Services. As seen in far too many corners of the globe, poverty has the power to drag down an entire community, not just its poor. Unemployment, homelessness, poor mental and physical health, all of these hinder a society's economic growth, are associated with increased crime rates, and impose enormous medical and societal costs. In short, the well-being of society depends on the well-being of all its people. Here in New Orleans, in spite of progress on many fronts, many of our citizens aren't doing very well. We have to do better. A chain is only as strong as its weakest link. If you were a group of 100 women randomly pulled from the streets of New Orleans, 24 of you would be living in poverty. 24 of you would live without access to things most of us are lucky enough to take for granted. A roof over our head, a warm dinner to feed our family, access to medical care should you or a loved one fall ill. 1 in every 4 New Orleanians faces challenges like these every day. Luckily, we can help. In our community, numerous organizations are working to identify and solve the underlying causes of poverty and bring well-being to everyone. They are protecting the abused, sheltering the homeless, feeding the malnourished, and employing the disabled. They are providing invaluable services like crisis management, substance abuse treatment, and employment support and life skills training. So please vote for Health and Human Services and help our city's most vulnerable stand stronger and enjoy the quality of life and opportunities we all want to enjoy.
Hi, I'm Brittany Brees of the Brees Dream Foundation, and I'd like to encourage you to vote for youth development. We've all heard it before, our children are our future, but here in New Orleans, our children are in crisis. An appalling 42% of them live in poverty, and more than 20% of those that enter high school will never receive a diploma. Without a decent education or any professional training to speak of, it's no wonder that a quarter of 18 to 24-year-olds in New Orleans are not attending school, are not working, and have no more than a high school diploma to fall back on. Neglecting these youth adults will not only result in lower economic growth and higher government spending, but it will also cost New Orleans taxpayers hundreds of millions in lost income annually and billions over their lifetimes. Even worse, these troubled youth are increasingly the victims and perpetrators of crime. In 2009 and 2010, 50% of homicide victims were the age 27 or younger, and more than 50% of homicide offenders were age 23 or younger. Our kids are growing up to believe that the only future is at their fingertips with a gun. We owe our children brighter dreams than this. We cannot act soon enough. Let's prove that where you end up is not determined by where you began. Doing so is crucial for improving the economic and social conditions of our community and ensuring a brighter tomorrow. Please vote to give our children hope.